Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to have you all with us tonight. It's my privilege to call to order our City Commission evening this evening. We're delighted to have a nice crowd here, and we look forward to the items ahead of us. We're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner McCord and our invocation by Commissioner Holberg. If you'd rise, please.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda, if you don't mind. I'd like to add items, place on the regular agenda, item 6, consider a request by Ms. Ann Imes, Griffin resident, to vary from eligibility requirements of the Griffin Veterans Memorial Cemetery for her uncle, Senior Master Sergeant Jimmy D. Bowen, USAF, retired.
Okay, that's a motion to amend the agenda with item 6 and move the other items up one number.
So moved.
Is there a second from Mr. Brock? Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. This evening we are proud to recognize Tim Newman with the Electric Department for 30 years of dedicated service to the City of Griffin. We'll also recognize and congratulate Mr. Newman on his retirement as of May 1, 2016, and our Electrical Director, Dan Thompson, will address. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, everybody. Seems like we've been doing this a lot lately, and they don't get any easier. And you're getting taller, and I appreciate that.
Hey,
It's
thanks
good
a
to
lot,
see
man.
you.
Thanks a lot, man.
We've known each other a long time, and I can't tell you how much.
Dan, could you step a little closer to the microphone so everybody back there can hear?
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your years of dedication, service, teaching our younger ones, bringing up our younger apprentices, pointing them in the right direction. Thanks for having a safe, wonderful, happy 30 years. I need you back Monday morning, if you can do it.
What do you think, Kathy?
Kathy, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you, Dan.
We've
Thank you,
had
Dan.
a technical error with your presentation. This is your 25th anniversary.
25th, so I'm only 5 years behind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 30 is coming.
Ahead of the game, so.
So again, thank you very much for everything and all your years of service.
I appreciate it.
Mr.
Thank
Newman?
you so very much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Turn around, let's get a photo op. My box.
All right.
Outstanding.
We will.
One more with Miss
And
Kim.
Kim is here.
Well, give me a hand. Come on, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Mr. Newman. Go.
Good evening. I got a little something I want to say
That'd
to
be
Tim
great.
as well.
Thank you.
We've been, Tim, you've been a great friend, a great employee since I've been over this, and we worked well together over the years. Been many ice storms, many nights, many
Long nights.
many trips out of town and everything else. But you've been a very good friend on and off the job. We've done a lot of stuff off the job as well as on. But I'm congratulate you for your 30 years of service and your retirement. You know, Tim, we're doing Tim's retirement party is Thursday. So
2 to 4. Everyone's welcome.
But he's been a great friend, and he's been a great worker and a real big asset to the city. Very safety oriented. That taught these young guys the right way to do things, but I hate to see him go, but I'm proud for him, and, it's been a good,
I appreciate
good
it, Lee.
relationship, Tim.
Absolutely. You've been a great guy to work for. Been knowing the guy, Lee. I've been knowing Lee since high school, so, you know, and we started together, and then, hey, here we are 30 years, you know. And he moved up one step above the ladder than I did, so, hey, it's great. But anyway, I just want to say a few things for myself and Chairperson Morrow, Board of Commissioners, thank you for recognizing me tonight. I appreciate it. It's been an honor to serve my community and hometown. I'd like to thank my wonderful wife, Kathy, of 30 and a half years. So that's here, because if the guys know me, that's a tough job right there now. So Griffin Power has been my second family, has supported me in my career and personal life. The fun times, the arguments, the friendship. What about arguments, Rusty? 10-4. Arguments. My career was challenging and rewarding. I was privileged to be part of a team which achieved success that can all be proud of. I'm looking forward to having the time and the freedom to pursue my hobbies, including golfing, fishing, hanging out with friends and family. So, I want tonight to thank you, Griffin Power family, for sharing this celebration tonight. Thanks for everything. I will miss you.
On behalf of this board, we'd like to thank you for those 30 years of service, and we appreciate that. We're extremely proud of Griffin Power and what we provide our citizens, and you're a critical part of that team. So, having retired once, I understand it. Good luck. Don't let them get you back into work again somehow.
I understand that, yes, sir. Hey, so I thank you all very much, and have a great night.
Godspeed. Item number 2 under presentations of delegations is to consider a proclamation declaring April 2016 to be Confederate History Month and April 26, 2016 to be Confederate Memorial Day. Have a motion to that effect.
Make motion approved.
A motion, Mr. Holbert, a second.
Second, sir.
Mr. Brock, any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? 6-1, motion carries. And I understand that Mr. Farrell, there he is. Hi, Kelly, good evening. You're going to receive the proclamation this evening. If you'd like to step forward to the podium, and if you'll excuse me, I'm going to read it from here tonight. I'm having a little trouble with my throat, and I might need some water here to get down in these words, so okay. If you would please, and then I'll come down and present it. This is a proclamation, Confederate Heritage and History Month, whereas the state of Georgia and its cities and an assemblage of people united by a common history, unique heritage, and diverse cultures. And whereas April is the month in which Confederate States of America began and ended a 4-year struggle for states' rights, individual freedom, and local government control, which they believed to be right and just. And whereas Confederate Memorial Day falls on April 26, and it is a time when Georgians commemorate the more than 90,000 brave men and women who served and sacrificed. Overall, Georgia has regularly declared April as Confederate Heritage and History Month by proclamation since 1995. Excuse me. Whereas Georgia joined the Confederacy upon the ratification of the Ordinance of Succession in January 1861, and since that time, Georgia's citizens have honored those who made sacrifices on her behalf and respected this portion of our past, including a thoughtful reflection of this period of our history. And whereas after the hostilities ceased, many of Georgia's citizen soldiers returned home to help rebuild their state from the devastation she received from the war, with the model citizen soldier actually becoming the model citizen in peace. Many of these citizen soldiers would help rebuild Georgia by serving in government, education, commerce, agriculture, and spiritual capacities. And whereas their contribution, as well as the following words of Generals Robert E. Lee and Joseph E. Johnston, to return home and become good citizens, made a legacy to make Georgia a better place. And whereas it is important that Georgians reflect upon their state's past and respect the devotion of her leaders, military and citizens during the tumultuous period of the war between the states. Pursuant to OCGA 1420, this month of April of each year is hereby designated as Confederate History and Heritage Month and shall be set aside to honor, observe, and celebrate the Confederate States of America, its history, those who served in its armed forces and government, and all those millions of its citizens of various races and ethnic groups and religions who contributed in sundry and myriad ways to the cause which they held so dear from its founding on February 4, 1861, in Montgomery, Alabama, until the Confederate ship CSS Shenandoah sailed into Liverpool Harbor and surrendered to British authorities on November 6, 1865. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Griffin, along with the Governor of the State of Georgia, Nathan Deal, does hereby proclaim April 2016 to be Confederate Heritage and History Month, and April 26, 2016 is Confederate Memorial Day in the City of Griffin, Georgia, and urges all citizens to reflect on this historic period and recognize the sacrifices made by many during that turbulent time. We do hereby declare that a copy of this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the proceedings of this board, reflecting that I have hereunto caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this, the 26th day of April in the year of our Lord 2016. It's signed by myself, the chairman, and Kenny Smith, the city manager.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Just, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, I appreciate y'all doing this. Just want to say that I would have got this to you earlier. I teach in Henry County, and our spring break is a little bit earlier, so I would have got it to you beforehand, but when I got back and I got it in, of course, this is the last month of the meeting. So I appreciate y'all doing this, and just a little historical note that today is Confederate Memorial Day, and it's the 150th anniversary of this Memorial Day, because it got started in Columbus, Georgia, and back then it was just called Memorial Day. Well, our counterparts up north saw that what we're doing, and they adopted what we're doing, which became National Memorial Day, and they put it theirs in May when we have ours in April. So I appreciate y'all doing this, and if you get a chance, as you know, that Griffin has a lot of history, and a lot of people that fought in the war came back home and made Griffin a better place, and of course you can go down to the cemetery, and we have a lot of different people down there, men and women that fought, and of course we got a Medal of Honor. We got Wiley Stewart, who's a free man of color from Tennessee that got wounded in the Battle of Atlanta, that's buried in the Griffin Cemetery. So a lot of history.
Can you repeat what you just say?
Say again?
What did you just say?
Wiley Stewart, he was a 4th Tennessee Cavalry, Murphy.
And he was what now?
Say again?
You say he was a free man
Yeah,
of
that's
color?
what he's listed as.
Oh, okay.
On his muster roll, he's listed as a free man of color
Okay.
that served in the 4th Tennessee Cavalry.
Mhm.
He got wounded, and when he got wounded in
he
the
was
Battle of
fighting.
Atlanta.
He was fighting for the Confederacy.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And when he got wounded, they brought him down here to Coosa Hospital.
He
And-
he was drafted, or he
Enlisted.
enlisted
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
under his own free will.
Yes, sir, he sure did.
Oh, okay. And that's recorded as well.
Yes.
Yes, sir, actually. I've got 2 books on Black Confederates that fought.
Okay.
But yeah, he's buried there, and he's buried in the middle of the cemetery, and a lot of others. We've got a Confederate Medal of Honor who's buried there also. So we've got a great history, and it's all there for people just to be able to check it out. Matter of fact, Ed Reynolds is a retired school teacher. Interesting thing about Ed, real quick, is that he's a real grandson. His grandfather served at Georgia Military Institute, and after the war, he was obviously survived and became a doctor in Marietta. So, and of course, Robert Bailey's here. He lives in Griffin, and Sam Stacy. Where is Sam? In the back. He's a CPA. I think everybody knows Sam. who's a fixture. But anyway, I want to thank you all again for taking your time. If you ever have any questions, we all live in Griffin. We're here to answer any questions you want, and we're glad to be here. And thank you again for taking your time to do this tonight. I appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you again, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Appreciate you. This time on the agenda, we have Miss Ann Imes, Griffin resident, would like to address the City Commission with a request to vary from eligibility requirements of the Griffin's Veterans Memorial Cemetery for her uncle, Senior Master Sergeant Jimmy D. Brown. Miss Imes, good evening to you. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Ann Imes Corey.
And if you'll pull the microphone down a little better so we can
Is that
get you
better?
recorded, that's great. Thank you, Ann.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'd like to ask y'all to consider this request. It is for my brother, though, Jimmy D. Bowen, and not my uncle. But he was my brother. He was my brother, a year and 8 days younger than me, so he's like my twin. So I'm asking my nephew, Bowen Jones, to tell you what we sent out in the letter to all of you, okay? And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to ask them.
Thank you.
Thank you. As Ann said, my name is Bowen Jones, and Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate y'all taking the time to review this. I think each of you received a letter from Lieutenant Commander Tom Bo Jones, my brother, who is not able to be here. He's currently serving in Northern California. Generally speaking, though, Ann and my mom's brother, who passed away recently in the last few weeks, has been cremated, and his family's wishes are for him to come back to Griffin and be buried here in the Veterans Cemetery. He was a citizen of Griffin, living on Maddox Road for early 2000s. He actually retired as a Master Sergeant with the United States Air Force, but then he went to work as a federal agent for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, where he continued to relocate continuously through the 40 years that he worked for the government in both points. So and when he did finally settle down, he came to Griffin, where Ann lived, where Jeannie lived, and where his parents lived and died. And anyway, we're simply requesting, we don't know if we're asking for a variance or a confirmation. The only thing we can find is a draft on the actual rules, and the way it reads that you have to be a current resident, which he is not a current resident. He left Griffin in 2000, 6 or 7 years ago. He left to go be near his son, who is a doctor, so that he could help manage the blood cancer that he had, as well as kidney failure. So he lived out much longer than we thought he would, but he was able to live with him and have good care. So, but they're wanting to bring him home, and we would love to make that happen on behalf of a grateful nation and a grateful community, and would appreciate your consideration as such.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions or anything? We understand. We'll take it up here in just a few minutes. And I remember when your husband Carl sat up here, so it's
I remember.
you remember that well.
So y'all are doing great, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's time we come to citizens' comments. This time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business, but are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. Chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said on that, I'll start over on my right. Does anybody on the right like to address the commission on any issues? All right, how about on my left? Anybody have an issue they'd like to bring before us? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Next item of business is a public hearing. They're conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered. Item number 4 under public hearings is receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit to construct single-family homes on 7 lots on Lynn Lane, submitted by Square Foot Ministries, and Mr. Toussaint Kirk, our Director of Planning Development, will address. Good evening, Toussaint.
Good evening. What we have tonight is Square Foot Ministries has been donated property from the land bank to build 7 homes. The zoning is HDRA, which is high-density residential, and it requires a special use permit to build single-family dwellings.
We presented this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they've recommended approval as well as staff.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Does anyone like to address this in the audience? Come forward. Yes, sir, if you would, please, and if you'll give your name and address for the record.
Name is Kevin McCormick. Address is 110 Brookfield Court, Tyrone, Georgia. I'm with Square Foot Ministries. Square Foot Ministries is a nonprofit organization, a construction organization. We do not have any paid staff. We are all volunteers. We all also have real jobs. But what we've been doing in Griffin for the past 8 years, we've already constructed 10 single-family homes in Griffin Spalding, 6 specifically in the Fairmont area of Griffin. These homes are built habitat style. We utilize volunteers and donations. The homes are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, total electric, fully insulated, energy-wise, energy certified homes. They've got hardy plank siding on the side of them. We try to dress them up in the front to make them a little bit different. But these homes we're building for are partners of ours. In fact, we've got some partners right here sitting in the meeting tonight. Single-family moms that are living in substandard housing, wherever that might be here in Griffin, and they're all from Griffin, have lived here most of their lives, is to provide decent, affordable housing. We hold the mortgage on these properties. Square Foot Ministry does. There's 0 interest. The mortgage payments are around $350 a month. That includes property taxes and insurance on the home. We work with the homeowners in home ownership, how to take care of their house, things of that nature. So what we're really trying to do is just, these kids back here, it's been proven by a number of studies that if they're in a safe, healthy environment, they do better in school. And that's what we're trying to do, is not build a house, but build a home and some hope in the community. We don't make anything off of it. We are a nonprofit. Every single penny that comes into us through donations goes into these homes. We've been active in the community. We built the Compassion House over at East Griffin Baptist Church for victims of domestic violence. We've helped Agape House, Princess House, which is the halfway house coming out of the Potter's House for young ladies. We've doubled their capacity over there. Kentucky Avenue, the Cara Play Park, which is now home of Impact Racing Ministries. We partnered with them, and they now own that property. We've been here, and we're going to stay here, and that's really all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McCormick. Anybody else like to address this? Mr. Kirkland? Anything else? How about the commission? Anybody want to say anything on the commission? Any questions, comments? Oh, yes, sir. If you'd give us your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm David Dodd with Impact Racing Ministries, and my home address is 700 Woodland Drive here in Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
And just wanted to be here this afternoon on behalf of Square Foot Ministries. I had the opportunity, going on 6 years ago, to start Impact Racing Ministries in the Fairmont community, and that project is a result of Square Foot Ministries being in our community from Fayetteville and loving on our community. I'm very excited to say I see them there regularly, so I'm excited, at the same time disappointed that I see them more than I see a lot of our other folks here in the town serving in our community. I don't want this project and ongoing projects for Square Foot to be about homes and market value, because after being able to immerse myself in that community, I look at what they do for our families, and this is this big, exciting partnership, and I actually see the result of what they do as hope, encouragement, and opportunity. And we're not going to change our city economically by demolishing every property on the north side of town. I know there are a lot of bad places there, but I think that the families represented here and the families that work to qualify for what Square Foot does, they don't give things away. We're on the same page here. We're there in the community doing life together, not for folks. They're excited about the opportunity, and the families that I meet and have an opportunity to qualify for their homes are excited about changing something different. And those are baby steps in a pretty ugly situation. I'll just leave it at that. But would continue to advocate for their efforts, and still wonder often why Square Foot and people from Fayetteville would continue to love on our community the way they do for no economic gain or no monetary gain. And I can only assume that that is a God thing, and I just hope that not anything gets away in that God-called plan. So thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Anyone else? It's a public hearing. That appears to be it. Okay. Moving on. Item number 5 is the approval of our minutes of the April 12th workshop and regular meeting. Motion's in order.
Make a motion approved.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of both the workshop and the regular meeting. Is there a second? Second. Expect more. Anybody have any additions, corrections? If not, all in favor, please raise your hand. They are approved. The new item number 6. Help. Was that right?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the request to allow,
Let me read it to make it official. How's that?
Okay.
Consider the request of Mrs. Ann Imes, Griffin resident, to vary from eligibility requirements of the Griffin Veterans Memorial Cemetery for her, not uncle, her brother. I don't know, we got uncle, sorry about that. Her brother, Senior Master Sergeant Jimmy D. Bowen, USAF retired. Okay?
Make a motion approved.
We have a motion to approve. Second, let me make this comment, Ms. Imes. There is a formal copy of the rules to the military cemetery, and they do say, be honorably discharged U.S. veteran born in Griffin, Spalding County, and or honorably discharged U.S. veteran who has moved to Griffin, Spalding County and has permanent residency locally. And there's a couple other things. It appears that your brother does not meet the actual letter of the rules, but I do believe he meets the spirit of the rules, if you will. He is honorably discharged veteran. He did live here in Griffin quite a long time. He did maintain his membership at our local American Legion Post 15, even when he moved away to be with one of his relatives and to seek a cure for cancer. So had he not had cancer long-term care, I expect he would have been here until he passed away. So in my opinion, as a veteran, I believe he meets the spirit of the rules, even though not quite the letter, and I would be proud to support this slight eligibility variance, if you will. So that's my statement. Anybody else have anything to say? We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. You're welcome. Thank you. We're proud to have him here. All right. The new item number 7 as we move down. Consider approval of request for a special use permit to construct single-family homes on 7 lots on Lynn Lane submitted by Square Foot Ministries. The property are zoned HDRA, which requires a special use permit for single-family construction. And is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
We have a motion to approve the request from Ms. Cora.
Second.
And a second. Discussion. Anybody like to say anything? If not, all of those.
It didn't look my way first quick
I'm
enough.
sorry.
I didn't talk quick enough. I just got a couple of comments. I'm concerned that the size of the lots is gonna push 4 houses into a small space. I don't know what size the families may be, but I am fearful that if we have houses built in a really small space, that we're asking for trouble. If you don't have room to turn around, if you don't have room for the children to play, the size of these lots, I don't think will give children time to play. Now, is there any way that we could look at maybe doing it somewhat differently. Instead of putting 4 on 7, put 3 on 7, spread them out, give them leg room. That's my biggest concern about saying yes or no.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of the request to approve this request, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. All those opposed? 4. The motion appears to fail. Moving on, new item number 8. Consider approval for the Atlantic Fiber Networks agreement for lease of fiber optic cable between the City of Griffin and Atlantic Fiber Networks. Mr. Poland is here. Anybody? Good evening, Jack. This is the discussion, the contract that we discussed a couple meetings ago?
Correct, the workshop. This is with the Atlanta Fiber Network for the Spalding County School System. They'll be leasing, we had a comment about what's black fiber, not lit fiber. But anyway, they'll be leasing our extra fiber in order to carry on the school system's fiber that they will be going out in the county with.
Okay. Do we have a
motion approved?
We have a motion approved, Mr. Holberg. Second? Second? Mr. Brock? Any further discussion? You're going to abstain? Okay, with the school district? Okay, we have one abstention. All in favor, please raise your hand. It is 5-0-1. Motion carries. New number 9, consider renewal of a standard office lease between the City of Griffin and the Wayland Law Firm for suites 520 and 524 of 1 Griffin Center, amount of $11,170 per year. I know this Wayland guy.
Make a motion approved.
Is there a motion
I think
approved?
it's gonna die for a second.
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
That's second, Ms. Cora. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. New item number 10, consider purchase of .82 acres located at 310 North 112th Street, Griffin, Georgia, in amount of $30,000, amend the budget accordingly.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Brock has a motion to approve. Is there a second? Mr. McLemore, second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. City Manager's report. Mr. City Manager.
Well, we had a great week last week, Georgia City's Week. I hope you had an opportunity to participate. I hope you've had a chance to look at the brand-new website. Our citizen engagement specialist, Brian Miller, did a great job engaging our citizens throughout the entire week. A lot of downtown activities. He worked with our IT department to launch a new website that we hope is easier to use, friendlier, and more people would tune into that website to conduct business with the city. Budget's going fairly well. Hopefully we'll have that to you on time. We've been working pretty diligently and things are coming together. We'll have our first budget workshop at the May 24th workshop meeting, so we'll get that to you a couple of weeks in advance so you'll have an opportunity to review it before that workshop. Our Fire Department Citizens Academy starts on May the 12th. Our PD Citizens Academy is winding up now, and we're getting ready to start our Citizens Fire Academy. So if you've got people in your districts that are interested in learning more about our fire department, that'll start on May the 12th. We need to get those applications in, and we had a pretty interesting meeting with the fire department this afternoon, and I'm going to let the chairman tell you about that. And that's all the comments I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Whalen, do you have comments?
No, sir. I'll just congratulate what I think you're gonna talk about.
Okay.
I don't have any comments.
Mr. Brock, any comments?
None, sir.
No comment.
Flowers? Ms. Ward, do you have any comments?
Yes, I have comments.
Okay.
Square Foot Ministries has been coming here for over 12 years, building houses in the community. Nobody except for Mr. Brock raised a question. Had I known that you had concerns about this earlier, then I would have tried to get with them to see if something else could have been worked out. You asked about the size of the lots. Have you been over there to see what else is over there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm familiar with the
Okay,
process.
did you see immediately behind where they're wanting to build single-family homes, the cinder block apartments, where the floors are on the ground. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
You talk about giving the children somewhere to live. There's a park. There's plenty of area for them to play in that area. But these children are having to come by the nicer homes that Square Foot have put in there, are having to come by these apartments, these drug dealers and everything else to get to their homes. Fairmont Development is there. We cannot attract a developer to come because of the blight and the other things that's going on. We can't even qualify for tax credit. And Square Foot is wanting to come here and build some single-family homes, like they said, to give these children hope. I mean, what do y'all expect for them to build there? $200,000 homes? Come on.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I ain't finished.
And
if any of y'all had concerns, I wish that you had addressed them to me so that I could have at least tried to have the opportunity for them to bring something back that would fit, but you didn't. So, I mean, what's really going on?
Well, I just don't think it was appropriate. I'm like him. I didn't think this was the project.
What do you think should be there?
I don't choose to debate that at the moment.
You don't choose to. I'm not asking you to debate it. I'm just saying, what else? You know, what do you think? What do you think could be there? The land bank is tearing the houses down. They've donated the property. This is what we said in housing council that we were trying to do. So now that we've gotten this far, y'all got another suggestion?
We can talk about that later. How's that? No, I'm not going to respond right now. I'm sorry.
I'll respond to it.
Please.
I'll go back and say again, if we would just spread it out and not put them so dadgum close together.
How far you want to spread them out?
I could vote for
How
it.
do you want to spread out? How far do you want
Put
to spread
three
out?
on the lots instead of 4.
How many houses were on the lots before? Doug, what's the size of your house that you got over there? Or what size is that lot?
We need
What's
to
the size
change
of the house
some of
that
that.
you built over there? You built about 3 houses over there. You got about 3 houses that were built over there.
We can debate this later. I did not build those houses, have never anything on Lynn Lane. Lynn Lane, I did
Okay,
not.
all right.
Never have.
All right, let me make a comment then. I'm proud to announce that our fire department under Chief Tommy Jones and his excellent management team have today learned that they have received an ISO rating of 1 on fire insurance. This is the best of the best. There are over 48,000 fire departments in the United States. Only 178 have reached the ISO 1 rating, which is top of the top. That's less than 1/3 of 1% of the fire departments in the United States. Of the several hundred, I don't know, 600-700 fire departments in Georgia, I've forgotten the exact number. Of all those in Georgia, there are only 14 fire departments in the state of Georgia that have received an ISO 1. This is an incredible honor for them and the men of that department. And it's particularly important. Homeowners will receive some rebate or some lowering of their premiums, most likely. But where it really... Huh?
Excuse me, effective August 1st.
August 1st, yes.
Yeah.
But what really counts is for business and industry. We're trying to attract more business and industry. Going to an ISO 1 is a tremendous reduction in the fire insurance. And so I personally, and I think we all would like to congratulate Chief Jones and his team. And they partnered, of course, when you look at the emergency response, the water department and Dr. Brandt and his team. If you don't have good water and adequate water and water in the right places, you don't get ISO. And also the fine men and women out at the 911 center and Mr. Poland and our fiber and the communication systems. That's all part of the greater team. So for all 3 departments, you've made us proud, and folks in this community will be saving money after August 1, theoretically, on insurance, particularly the business people. So I'm very proud of them, and I thank them for what they did. Is there anything else before the commission? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn. First and a second. All in favor,